Saint Gemma's Heavenly Mother. Gemma loved the Queen of Heaven ardently. As the reader will remember, she took her as her mother when her earthly mother died. It was on the advice, at least implied, of the latter that Gemma did so, for a little statue of Our Lady of Sorrows before which she had learned to say her prayers was her mother's last gift to her, and she brought it with her to the Galganis and treasured it until her death. When Gemma was miraculously cured of her serious illness, she heard Jesus say, "My child, to the graces you have received this morning, others still greater will be added. I shall always be with you. I shall be as a father to you, and she will be your mother," and he indicated the little statue of Our Lady of Sorrows. But it was not then that she thought of taking the Blessed Virgin for her mother. From her earliest years she used to invoke her as her mom in heaven, her mom in paradise, her dear mom. And in moments of deep sorrow when her soul was filled with grief, she had another title for her, Mater Orphanorum, and the realization of being alone in the world and of being unable to count upon any but her love, filled Gemma's heart with an immense confidence in her intercession. And the Blessed Virgin did indeed become a mother to the orphan, and demonstrated in many ways her great and tender affection for her child. To convey some idea of Gemma's love for the Blessed Virgin we shall quote some passages taken from her marvelous writings, as well as some of the outbursts that came spontaneously from her lips while she was in ecstasy. After Holy Communion a little while ago, Mom called me and said that today was her feast day. She was dressed differently. She was no longer in black, but in white, and she caressed me tenderly. She pitied me because of my sins, as was evident from the way she looked at me. And do you know what I do when I'm before her, and before Jesus? I kneel down, and if it is Jesus I kiss his feet, but trembling as it were, and sometimes in spirit only, because when I suffer I cannot move. But if it is Mom I run to her and kiss her hands. Tomorrow is the feast of the Blessed Virgin. You know I love her very much, this Mom. And if I do not love her enough, she ought to obtain for me a heart more on fire, and then bring me to Jesus in heaven. I love Jesus and my Mom. I am always thinking of her, and I do not want to lose any opportunity of pleasing her and Jesus. If I am to live for a little while longer I desire to be always near them. This morning after Holy Communion, I was thinking, oh how great must have been the Blessed Virgin's sorrow after Jesus was born, as she reflected that he would one day be crucified. What must have been the agonies of her heart? How often she must have wept. And she never complained. Poor Mom. And when they crucified him, her heart was pierced through and through with grief, because know well that any harm that comes to a child in the presence of its parents, grieves the parents as much as the child. Therefore Mom was crucified together with Jesus. And yet she never complained. After these reflections I made the resolution not to complain about the way I have to live. Father, here we are in the month of May. I am thinking of the great favors I have received from Mom during the first years of my life, and I am ashamed that I have repaid with such little love the heart and the hand that showered them upon me. What is worse, I have returned her goodness with sin and ingratitude. Yes, Father, how often I have poured out the ardent desires of my agitated heart before a picture of my mother, and how often I have been consoled. But what were my thanks to her? Father, I can truly say that in the greatest trials of my life, I remember that though I have no longer a mother on earth, I have a much more compassionate one in heaven. This is a time, Father, when the mother of Jesus ought to make it clear that she is still my Mom. The month of May is for me the most beautiful month of the year, the month of graces. Father, how wonderful it is to receive Holy Communion in company with my Mother of Paradise. I did so yesterday, the 8th of May. I had never received Holy Communion in her company before. Father, do you know in what consisted all the outpourings of my heart during those moments? In these words, "Oh Mom. Mom, how I love to call thee Mom." My heart, you see, exults just the same as it does when I think of Jesus. To which she replies, "You love to call me Mom, but I love to call thee child." These words she repeated at least 3 times during the day. It was like heaven when I heard her speak these sweet words to me. Let us reflect together, Father. Is not the feast of my heavenly Mom the most beautiful of all the days of the year? On that day my soul is filled with deep peace and I forget the world and its storms. On that day even the wicked remember that we have a Mother in heaven, full of tender love for us and solicitous for our welfare, and that we are her children. Even those who do not see her with bodily eyes but only look upon a simple image of her, cannot help feeling in their hearts sentiments of love, gratitude and confidence. Yes, the feast of my mom is for me a day of greater peace and of greater love, and for all, a day of sanctification. Father, though I am resigned, yet how can I live without Jesus? If I could only please his mother so that at least she would come instead of Jesus. Oh, if I could only become worthy to be her child. If you knew how many times this good mother turns away her eyes from my sins, how frequently she acts towards me as a loving mom. If Jesus will persist in hiding himself, I must have my mother. I want her at least to listen to me. Even if Jesus does not want me anymore and I must live without him, I cannot do without my mother. Mom, my mother, I love thee so much, but I don't know how to show thee that I love thee. I want to tell you another thing. The thought of my mother is so deep in my mind that it seems to me that I can see her weeping as she opens her arms to receive Jesus when he was taken down from the cross. Poor mother. And it seems to me that she looks at me and says, "It is you who have reduced Jesus to this state. Jesus has left me because he can no longer put up with my indifference, and now my mom reproves me. What is to be done? Mom, Mother of mercy, show all thy mercy towards me, and bring me to Jesus. What other consolation canst you afford me other than this, and you obtains mercy for me from Jesus? Do it for me. Mom, please. Jesus will grant it, if you only ask. From thee I expect everything. Father, isn't Mom wonderfully beautiful? In the past it seemed to me that I saw her often, only to desire all the more to see her again. Her beauty is so great that it cannot be described. The Eternal Father has crowned her with the crown of holy love. And if you saw how beautiful that crown of glory is? The base, being of the brightest gold, seems to shoot forth flames. There are precious gems in it, and these are all the virtues. And there are many pearls. She was crowned with the crown of wisdom, and adorned with every splendor. I cannot describe it. There was a special sign in her beautiful crown, which meant that she was the dispensatrix of the treasures of paradise. O Father, O my Father. Mother, do you remember the day you didst ascend to heaven and didst carry my heart away with thee? Keep it always up there with thee, for when I am near thee I am in possession of all things. Do you think that a child can get on without its mother? O my mother, I desire to be always near thee, I don't want you ever to go away again. Oh, take me with thee to heaven. I cannot live without thee. Do you see how you make me suffer? O Mom, if you art a mother full of pity, why do you abandon thy child who loves thee? Without thee who will listen to my prayers? Without thee I am poor and helpless. O my mother, why do you leave me? O Queen of Heaven, who didst take from creatures the noblest part of their love. You have also snatched away my heart, and now that it has become heavenly and has ceased to be earthly because of thy embraces, you will not give it back to me. You art jealous of my love. O Mom, do not leave me. I cannot do without thee. I am thine. Mother Mary, I am thine. You had pity on my great sins. I'm thy child. Jesus says so. Therefore, do I not also belong to thee, Jesus? Think of me, Jesus. Do you not want me any more, O Jesus? Do not abandon me. Help me in the hour of trial. O my mother, what a favor I have received, for Jesus has given me to thee. Mom, come as Jesus used to come, nearly every day. Oh, I know how a mother acts towards her children, so treat me just like that. But who am I that I should deserve such favors? Yet you art my only hope. If you will not listen to me, must I give up hope? Listen, Jesus has given thee my soul, and I have offered thee my heart. O my mother, how my heart is filled with pity every time I see thee at the foot of the cross. But do you know what my greatest sorrow is? It is because I cannot offer thee any comfort, and because I have been the cause of thy sorrow. If my little sufferings are of any consolation to thee, accept them, O my mother, and tell Jesus to hide them in his heart. Oh yes, Jesus will accept them, and will not despise them. The following account of 2 visions of the Blessed Virgin was sent by Gemma to her spiritual director. I was lying down on my bed but was not yet asleep, when I seemed to see a beautiful lady coming towards me. I called out to Aunt, but I do not know whether she came or not, for I was immediately rapt out of my senses and was no longer in the world. My Heavenly Mother was looking at me and smiling. She loves me very much, and told me that she had come to take my little bouquet of virtues. Do you understand? But she found me so poor that she encouraged me to practice virtue, particularly humility and obedience. Then she spoke a few words I do not know the meaning of. My child, you must become refined, perfect in spirit, and quickly. What happened to me, I don't know, but that word quickly caused such a violent movement in my heart, that my mother placed her beautiful hand upon it. I could not speak, but interiorly I asked her for an answer. I opened my eyes and questioned her with them. Tell the Father, that if he does not provide for you, I shall soon take you to heaven quicker than he thinks, we shall be together. She left me with my soul in an ocean of joy. Oh Father, you know how the world appears after such experiences. I do not know whether you have experienced it. I besought you for a little health, and to allow me to live a little longer. She consented, saying, Tell the Father that I grant you what you ask, but that if he does not provide for you, I shall retract my promise, and take you away with me. This vision refers to Gemma's religious vocation, and to the proposed establishment of the Passionist nuns at Lucca. Gemma did recover her health, but the foundation of the convent being delayed, she got sick again and died. The second vision is, to use the words of a very devout writer, simply exquisite. We shall describe it in Gemma's own words. Whoever would have imagined that my Heavenly Mother would come to see me? I myself did not dare to expect it, because I believe my wicked conduct was too great an obstacle. But she had pity on me, and after I had been interiorly recollected for a little while, there happened what often happens. I was rapt out of myself, and then I found myself, it seems to me, before Our Lady of Sorrows. What an abundance of joy I then felt within my heart. Explain it who can? It appeared to me that after a few moments of great emotion, she took me on her lap, and making me lean my head upon her shoulder, held me in that position for some time. My heart was full of contentment. I felt I was in want of nothing. Am I the only one you love? She asked me from time to time. Oh, no, I answered, I love another person more than thee. And who is it? She said, pretending not to know. It is somebody who is very dear to me, dearer than anything else in the world. I love this person so much that I would even give my life for him this instant. But tell me who he is? She asked again. If you weren't here yesterday evening, I replied, you wouldst have seen him with me. But he does not come often enough. I go to him every day, and I should go oftener, if I could. But do you know, Mom, why he acts like that? It is because he wants to see whether I shall still love him when he is far away. But the farther he is away, the more my heart longs for him. Tell me who he is, she repeated. No, I shall not tell thee his name. But he is beautiful and like unto thee, and his hair is the same color as thine. And then it seemed to me that my mother caressed me, saying, But, my child, whom do you mean? Do you not understand? I exclaimed. I mean Jesus, I am speaking of Jesus, and I repeated it more earnestly. She smiled at me and pressing me to her, said, Love him indeed. Love him with all your heart. But love him alone. Never fear, I said to her, no one in this world will ever share my affections. They belong to Jesus alone. She caressed me again, and I thought she kissed me on the forehead. Then I awoke, that is, I came out of the ecstasy, and I found myself stretched on the floor with the crucifix near me. Amen.